Video streaming. Okay, we are live. Or
Woohoo.
live. Woohoo. Now, are you going to Skype in or you want to stay on the phone?
Well, I am Skyped in. Oh, I'm on the phone.
I called you. I called you
right,
from
right,
Skype.
right.
Courtesy
That's
of
right. I
NHB.
didn't have Skype up. Yeah, I probably should call in on Skype, right?
Yeah. So you get Skype up, and I'll open the show and track down Venison.
All right.
All right.
Super.
Great.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Yeah.
That was one and only Brian Blues, who I called because I had no co-hosts, and I have, you know what I have up and running right now, thanks to the help of a screwdriver and a dock. I have this. I have my opening music, and I also have our special announcer to let us know that you are tuned into
Insert title here.
the show that changes names so often we had to put a placeholder in and then save the placeholder sound on a mirrored pair of terabyte hard drives that can no longer be powered by my 650 watt power supply that I bought after my 1000 watt power supply died. And I sat there and thought, should I buy another 1000 watt power supply? Or should I buy something smaller? And I remembered once upon a time ago, about 5 years ago, I met this dumbass named Venice. No, I was listening to Video Vamp. And speaking of dumbasses.
Okay. No, I'm just setting up.
I know. We're all setting up. And Brian's going to call us soon. And then I got to figure out how to convince Skype to conference us all in.
Uh-huh.
But that's okay. Because we are here. And I am...
I am mostly, but my chicken legs are almost done.
Well, I mean, I know your legs aren't much to look at, but you don't need to put yourself down that much.
Roast chicken leg. Nice and juicy. Yeah.
There you go. And we are once again live on the No Holds Barred Radio Network, which has a listener count of... Oh, wait, I'm not Damon. But... All right. Well, since I started that sentence, may as well finish it. 12 is the number of listeners on that stream, which is...
Well, that's pretty good.
Which is probably... Well, Sloan used to get 100 and then do the Sloan dance and then get another 100. But that... Tell you what, I will do the Gators dance if we break 100 on the stream. And I mean a legit 100, not a I'm going to connect 100 times on one machine 100. I'll know.
That's going to happen. You know, the early days of internet radio are long gone.
Yes. Sloan dancing is a thing of the past. But Brian Blues is here.
Hey.
Hey.
Now we are on Skype.
And Brian has been putting a lot of thought into the whole death of Hangouts, as I have.
Right.
And he came up with an interesting suggestion that we caught the tail end of. I have some ideas too. What really needs to happen is me, Brian, and maybe Lulu all need to get in front of our computers on a Friday night or a Saturday or a Sunday or and spend a half hour to an hour trying different things and hashing this out. And you know what? It's summer. So I'm going to the shore this weekend and maybe again next weekend. And I expect Brian's doing a lot of fun summer things. So for now, we're going to go back to our roots of being primarily audio. Except for those of you that get to look at this ugly mug. But we are working on solutions.
Yeah, summer. I am questioning that a little bit because I'm confused.
You're confused.
You know, even with all the days that had to be taken off because of the bad weather, you know, school starting in the middle of August?
Oh.
Like, no.
Welcome to the future.
I am so glad I don't go to school anymore. Fuck that shit.
Holy shit!
Fuck that shit. You know, I
I
remember.
should be back to school in the 3rd or the 7th.
I remember when I was growing up, and it was 180 days was the school calendar year. You know, it's 180 days of school, and the word was that out in California they were doing 200 and something. And when California does something, usually the rest of the country jumps on the bandwagon. And I'm like, fuck that. I refuse. No way. It better not ever happen. Not on my fucking watch. And then my mom.
Were you on watch? Were you on watch, dude?
I owned a watch.
Oh.
I mean, whose idea was
Timex takes a licking and still keeps on ticking?
Well, this was more the digital watch with the glowing blue light in the middle of the night and with the stopwatch timer and the beep beeps and all that. So, yeah, I was not...
Oh, the Indiglow.
Yeah. Yeah, so if I went to school beyond 180 days, I'd have to take the watch off for the remainder of those days because I was not going beyond 180 days on my watch.
Yeah, like I said, whose idea was that anyway?
Well, and here's the thing, and I know this because my mom was a teacher, and so she was up on this stuff, and the arguments were laid out thus were summertime is kind of a teacher's worst nightmare professionally. Now, teachers love having the summer off, but teaching-wise, it's difficult because the kids go home for a few months and take this long break, and then they come back not ready to learn, have forgotten the stuff, and you basically got to waste a whole bunch of time refreshing them with what they forgot over the summer to bring them up to what you want to teach them this year. So that was a down.
Yeah, so 2 weeks going to make a real difference.
This is what professionals are saying. This is the logic. The argument was that the long break is bad for the teaching cycle, that the kids forget, and that the primary reason for the long extended summer break was back in the days of buildings that were not air conditioned. And now when you get up into the modern age of air conditioned buildings, there's no longer that reason that exists to shut down for the summer months.
No, not all schools are air conditioned.
Well, that's another argument then. Maybe you need to put a requirement to bring all schools up to certain codes to be open for the summer. I don't know.
Well, they won't do that because they don't want to spend the money for that.
Well, this is not what this show is about. This is not Education Corner with Gators, Venison, and Brian. But those are the arguments, education-wise, from the people involved, was that the long break makes it difficult to get the kids back into gear when they get back, and the main reason for it was back in the days when you didn't have air-conditioned buildings. And so it makes sense to make a shorter summer break. Now, I'd be fine with that, but, make other breaks, keep it 180 days, maybe? Although, even that I really don't like, because there was nothing more awesome than summer vacation.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
I mean, 2.5 solid months of no work, no worries, sleep in,
fun.
wake up, sun is shining, go outside, play with friends, and stare at your phone for hours. Oh, no, wait, that's summer vacation today. Fresh sunshine, Nerf bow and arrow, and
Kids going to be traumatized.
playing hide and seek, and utilizing the porch speakers to listen to records in the backyard. Good times for all. But you know what we do for fun nowadays? We build RAID arrays.
Say what?
What, you mean you don't build RAID arrays for fun, Venison?
No.
Now, what about you, Brian? You ever build a RAID array for fun?
Well, hey, Venison, isn't it fun to watch Jonathan tweet about it?
And speaking of people that like to build RAID arrays, we have Lulu on the line.
God
Yay.
fucking damn it! Took you guys long enough. fuck?
Well, again, we're still working out the details of how this stupid thing's going to work.
I'm sorry, did I miss you trying to call in? I saw you try to call in, I hit the button. I thought that was your first attempt.
I didn't know which fucking Skype you guys were using. You just said, "Oh, we're using Skype now." I tried emailing you. I tried the group chat on Twitter. I tried messaging you on Hangouts.
Oh, there's
nobody
email.
would fucking respond.
There's email. I'm sorry. I was.
Duh!
In my defense.
Well, so Johnny, I was the hero, and I told her that it was NHP Live. So that's how she got on.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm hoping that wasn't a mistake. I'm hoping that wasn't a mistake.
No, that was the right one. That was because you.
Yay!
Thank you. You know what, Brian? You get the round of applause for getting Lulu the right account, and I get the booze for not fully notifying Lulu on how to connect.
Well, you're still trying to work out the technology,
yeah,
right?
Well, I was trying to work out the getting fully unfired from NHB because Rico was not willing to unfire me, but he was willing to let Dune unfire me. And so Dune, did the unfiring and gave me co-host access on the Messenger program, which is like host access, but without the ability to start the stream. And so I opened up the Messenger program 5 minutes of showtime because that's how much time I give myself to prepare. And I had no go button. And so it's like, oh my God, Dune, I don't have a go button. And Dune got right on it, got in there, fixed it, reset my password to password. It's okay. I already set a new one. And I'm in. And you know who else is in? I see that we have the Google Messenger connected still. And I see, oh my God, Zane McFate is on the Messenger list. I don't think he's listening, but hey, he still exists. I wonder if we could send him a message. Can we send him a message? OMG.
I don't know. Can we?
Zane McFate. Send.
So why does Venison have a weird little strike through circle next to his name? I haven't used Skype for a while.
I don't have the same circle.
Can I block him? Is that why I can't hear him?
I forget. We're nhbradio.com, right?
Yes. And Venison, say something so we can see if Lulu hears you. Venison? Okay, we don't hear him either. So maybe he's working on his he's working on his chicken legs. He's chowing down a big old chicken leg right now. We'll figure that out later.
Oh wait, now it should work.
Okay, he just talked.
Huh.
Why the fuck did this thing mute me?
Oh. Yeah.
You hit the mute button.
The mute button will do that. So Lulu can see when people are muted, but I can't?
Oh my.
Okay. All right. You know what? Whatever. Maybe she's got the updated version of Skype. Maybe Skype halfway through the show is going to tell me to update. All right.
Well, I just downloaded Skype. I didn't have Skype on this fucking piece of shit.
Oh, okay. So you have the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
So,
oh God, he's smacking. Mute yourself, you fucking vermin.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I might be doing a little, I got a cough drop in my mouth right now, so you might hear a little bit of that.
God, you're still sick.
No. I was all better. I was completely better. And then yesterday I got a tickle in the throat. And it's been only a tickle in the throat.
That was Brian.
Yeah, I blame him.
It was that small?
So Gothard just sent me a picture of an ATM machine with a broken pen. And, so they put a sign on it. The sign says, and this goes to show the very importance of spacing when writing stuff out, because this sign literally says, "Penis broken. Please use finger."
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my.
I just imagine which finger they use.
Yeah. Smell my finger is what.
2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
Whatever you're putting in the stink, just don't let me touch that one. You go ahead and keep that one out of the salt dish.
Ew.
Well, that was that's a whole thing about good manners when drinking tea is to leave your pinky out because you got to keep it clean for the little salt dish because they had the little salt dishes that you kind of dip your little pinky in to get a little salt to put on your food. So if you're gonna do 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink, and that's where the pinky goes, wash your hands before using the salt, please.
Why would they use their pinky for salt?
Because salt would be in a little dish, not in a shaker, and so you'd dip your finger into there to get a little salt out of the little dish.
Right.
Venison, you've been around a long time. You remember back then when I had little salt dishes.
Well, I know they used to grow out their pinky now, so that way they would scoop out cocaine.
Yeah, it's like that, but with salt.
And scratchy ears.
Oh, no. They used to have gold pinky rings or pinky little clips that had a little pinky nail, and they used to dish out their cocaine with.
So anyways, I have been having computer issues.
Issues?
Yeah. Well, it all started... There's an annoying feature in the electrical in this house. Basically, some places will, when they're getting ready to flip a house, they'll hire an electrician to go through, make sure the electric's all in order, clean up the box, and tidy up the wires and all that stuff. They hired a college student that's working to become a professional electrician to do the electric in this house. And so the entire upstairs and 2 of the light fixtures downstairs are all on one breaker in the box. And so being that the entire so the entire upstairs, that's half the house. And then 2 light fixtures downstairs, that's more than half the house. And upstairs is where I have all of my stereo equipment and our computers and the bedroom TV and I mean the mixing board here, there's some game consoles. There's a lot of electric stuff on the second floor of this house. The entire second floor and the light fixtures downstairs all on one fucking breaker. Not to mention 2 air conditioner window units. So I have to be careful not to turn on everything at the same time upstairs. So, but that breaker actually looks a little different than all the other breakers. It has a little test button on it. The other ones don't. And for some reason, if that breaker gets what's the word I'm looking for? If the breaker shuts off, is overloaded and clicks off, which happens from time to time, being that the entire upstairs is on this one breaker, I got to go down and flip the switch and flip it back. And turn a few things off. For some reason, when I flip the breaker off and back on, sometimes one or both of the light fixtures will not be fully illuminated. Like I'll have dim light bulbs on one or both of the light fixtures. So every time that breaker gets tripped, I have to flip it off, flip it on, come upstairs, turn on both light fixtures so we could see if we have bright lights or dim lights, and usually at least one of them is dim, and then Kristen will stand and watch the lights. I'll go downstairs, flip it off, flip it back on. She'll say, try it again. I'll flip it off, I'll flip it on. She'll say, try it again. I'll flip it off, I'll flip it on. Usually by 3 or 4 tries, we get both light fixtures fully bright. And once both light fixtures are fully bright, they stay fully bright until the next time the breaker is tripped. Well, the last time this happened, my computer wouldn't turn on again after doing that. So apparently flipping the breaker multiple times, not good for a computer that's plugged in to an outlet that's on that breaker. So now I unplug the computer before playing that game anymore. So that's why I lost a power supply on my tower. And, I probably should call an electrician one of these days and say, could you, make the power in this house not suck for an affordable price. And after he stops laughing, I'll get he'll hand me a piece of paper with a number on it. I'll cry and I say, well, I'll call you back in like 2 to 3 years, and then he'll give me like a number that's twice as big when that day comes. After I've and that's the game plan. And I probably should. This house needs to be insulated, but I want to work on the power before the insulation because I don't want to fill the walls with a bunch of insulation and then have the electrician go, how the hell am I supposed to run wires in here when you filled up all this walls with shit?
Easy, work around it. You can do it.
And then he gives me a higher number and says, well, I don't want this job because it's going to be a pain in the ass. So here's your big ass number. But meanwhile, heating oil is hundreds of dollars a month because of, there's no insulation in the walls of this house.
Fireplace, pellet stove. Yes.
I was thinking of that. Which would supplement, but you're still buying heat. Maybe you're finding a less expensive form of heat to supplement your more expensive form of heat, but ultimately the right solution is better insulation.
Okay, so move to the fucking desert.
Well, then my air conditioning bill will go up. No, that's not what I came here to talk about.
Not as much as the heating bill.
So 5 or so years ago, VideoVamp mocked me for buying my 1,000 watt power supply on my tower and said 500 watts will give you more than enough power. And so the power supply died. And my first thought was, could I buy the exact same thing? And my second thought was, this power supply is like at least 5 years old. Do I really want to buy a 5-year-old power supply? Do they still make this model power supply? And my first Google search found me eBay auctions for used ones. And I'm like, no, okay, it's time to look at new power supplies. So I priced out new power supplies, and I realized, you know what? Brand new 1,000-watt power supplies, more expensive than 500-watt power supplies. And VideoVamp said 500 watts should be adequate. So I thought maybe I have overdone it. Maybe if I get like a 600, 700 watt power supply, that would be adequate. And, I save a little money. So I found a nice 650 watt power supply that has good ratings, 5-star reviews. Everyone seems to love it. I think the people that wrote these reviews, though, are not powering 6 hard drives in their tower with it, though. But it did have enough connectors to power 6 hard drives and a Blu-ray drive. You'd think that if they put the connectors there, it could handle all the connectors being used.
No.
And you would be wrong. Or I was wrong, actually. Because next thing I knew, like every time I opened up a browser and loaded a certain web page that required loading a certain software to run a chat room, it would freeze. And eventually I got it to start working again, and it was working fine, and then it started freezing again, and eventually it got to the point where the computer wouldn't even boot up until I disconnected 2 hard drives. And when I disconnected 2 hard drives, booted right up, no problems. And so it's like, okay, you're overloading the power supply, and it's affecting your computer's ability to perform. So I bitched Vamp out a bit, and he told me that, no, it's not the wattage, it's the rails. And I told him, bottom line is, 1,000-watt power supply worked fine without a single issue for 5 years until I killed it by accident. 650-watt power supply don't. That's pretty basic. That's pretty simple. Don't talk to me about rails. I really don't fucking care. And he insisted he was right and I was wrong, which is what Vamp usually does. And you could hear him tomorrow explain all the reasons why he thinks he's right. And that's ADHD Radio, Tuesdays 6 to 8 on nhvradio.com. So I found out that, in fact, the 1,000-watt power supply I own is still being manufactured and is still being sold through Amazon and was only $20 more than the one I bought that doesn't work. So that's what I get for not doing my homework before ordering a inferior power supply. Of course, it was not available with Prime shipping, so I am still awaiting the arrival. The power supply is somewhere on a truck between California and here. So, but this inspired me to start thinking, do I really need 4 internal hard drives plus my Windows install hard drive in this tower anymore? Or maybe is it time to start thinking about better solution options? And I've been pricing NASs and big-ass hard drives that you put in a NAS. And, you know, both things are expensive. Hard drives are expensive. NASs are expensive. And then I thought to myself, well, I could probably save some money if I just, like, you know, I got an old computer in the basement, and that motherboard, well, it still works. And that motherboard's got 5 SATA ports on it. So, I mean, that's 4 SATA ports I could use to build, 4 data drives I could put on there, plus the one, like, OS drive, to run a free NAS software. And so that's my current plan. And I'm using OpenMedia Vault. Why? Because OpenMedia Vault doesn't require 8 gigs of RAM, and this motherboard is so old it only goes up to 4. Whereas FreeNAS requires 8 gigs of RAM. So OpenMedia Vault runs lighter, runs leaner, more efficient. And I like more efficient. And it runs, it's based off of Debian Linux. And Brian, you like Debian Linux. Brian's muted now. Everyone is muted. Except Fennison.
Yeah, I'm not.
So, anyways, Brian, you around? You nearby? Okay.
That's such a weird button.
Ah, you found it.
You hit it, nothing happens. You hit it again, then you hit it again, and then suddenly it's muted, and then unmuted, and then muted again. It's like, just fucking work.
You're a programmer. You know that's not how it works.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that. Now, Brian, you're a computer programmer, correct?
Yep.
When I say that my issue with programmers can be summed up in one error, which is keyboard not detected. Press F1 to continue.
Yeah, I love that one. I saw that tweet. That's great.
Are you going to start to get defensive about that shit?
Nope. Hey, I'm retired, man. It's up to the next guy.
Hey, but that error's been around since before I was using computers.
But even still today, you see these error message codes, like you're on the internet and you get a 404 message. Like, right. What the hell? Just say what it is.
That reminds me of, and enough years have passed that I'm pretty sure it's safe to tell this story now. Mm-hmm. But it involves the door code to a kid's nursery, and I'm thinking that being that the story happened like over 10 years ago, they've changed that door code by now.
And if they haven't, tough crap, right?
Right, and I'm not saying where it was or what the name of the place was because I don't know. But when my nephew was a baby, my sister was, taking some classes, and so she needed to, put the baby in daycare. And my mom would pick up Aiden from daycare. And I guess there was a code to get in that parents and authorized people knew. And so they made the announcement that the new door code was going to be changed to 404. And my mom goes, I don't know. And the new code didn't work. I had to ring the bell to someone open up the door. I put in 404 and it didn't open. And, the door, they said it was 404. And I said, oh, I know what it is. You got a 404 not found error. And and she said, but that's what they said the code was. And my dad started laughing a little bit. And she was, we had to explain it to her. She still wasn't amused after we explained it. But my dad thought it was funny. So I had that going for me.
Yeah. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Of course, it's kind of nerdy, but
yeah,
nothing wrong with that, right?
Okay, so Brian, as I was saying, and I think you'll get a kick out of this, because my idea was, out of the old computer, build an Open Media Vault machine, buy a bunch of large hard drives, build a RAID array out of that, and then have storage redundancy. But before I went and bought a bunch of hard drives and found out that this, and find out it wasn't going to work, I figured I better give it a test run. And so I have built a test RAID 5 array on the old machine with Open Media Vault, and I am able to browse out to it and save data on it. Now, I didn't buy the hard drive, so you might be wondering, what did you use to build a RAID 5 array? Well, if you see behind me, there's a bunch of...
I don't see anything.
There's a bunch of old laptop hard drives hanging out of a case with wires everywhere. And those would be the laptop hard drives that came out of Tharco laptops that were e-wasted. Right there. And I built a RAID array out of them. Is that great or what, Brian?
Totally great.
So, and I bet you everyone that used those hard drives probably doesn't work for Tharco anymore.
Exactly.
So there you go. And you know what's great? So I took 4 320 gig hard drives. I built a RAID 5 array out of them. I put a file system on them. I set up an SMB share on them. I mapped the T drive to them. And I'm able to throw a bunch of stuff on there. And it's a 878 gig share. And I already had my first hard drive death, because these are really old laptop hard drives that have been worked to death.
Well, again, it's a test rig, so who cares, right?
Right. And so I already got to do my test rebuild. So I grabbed another junk hard drive, plugged it in, it came up, I added it, it did a rebuild overnight, and today I now don't my RAID is now showing up as good, and it's not showing up as degraded. Now, while it was rebuilding, a bunch of bad sector errors were coming up on the screen, but garbage hard drives.
Right.
So Brian, you ever did that? You build a home RAID array for home storage type stuff?
Well, actually, that's one of the projects I want to do. I haven't done it yet.
No.
In fact, I got a cage. Okay, so I've got this old case. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's a tower, a big one, and it was basically designed in the good old days of IDE drives.
Oh wow, that's an old case.
So anyway, so I got this cage that you can put in SATA drives.
Right.
Okay. And I think I have a motherboard that supports SATA, so it's just replace the motherboard and fire it up.
Oh, so you're going to do the same thing, build your own. You're not going to just buy a NAS and load it with drives. You're going to build a NAS.
Well, I looked at NASs, but they're a little bit pricey. So
well, you could afford it.
Well, I'm still cheap.
That is true.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look. In fact, Robert Reich was just bitching about the Waltons and how much money that they make. It's like, hey, man, it's good to have money.
Yeah, but they could pay their workers a living wage, and then
that was the point of it. But hey, they're getting away with it, so what the hell?
Well, we should stop letting them get away with it. Is the point?
Well, get the Congress to pass a minimum wage bill.
Well, I mean, even if you could,
good luck with that.
Even if you could, you got Mitch Obstructor McConnell, his fucking turtle.
He won't be there forever.
He's been there for fucking ever. You think this guy's retiring anytime fucking soon? He will die in office. You have to take control. He'll roll his bony ass turtle carcass into the middle of the the rotunda and have people walk by, putting their hands on his casket, just to make sure he's really dead. And and then he'll wake up, come out of the casket, and go, "I was just taking a fucking nap."
There's been a few of them that I've had like retired around like 92, 93. Like they've been there for like World War II and so forth. And it's like, damn, how many times have you been like elected into this?
And that's that's the problem with the two-party system, is that the incumbent keeps getting to run again. And if you're in a district or a state that leans very heavily one way, you just...
So, number one, term limits.
Yes. I mean...
Number two, take control of the Senate, and he doesn't have that position anymore.
Well, he would still be there. He'd be the minority party leader, and he was a thorn in the side of the Senate as a minority party leader. I mean,
Well, he's just damn good at it.
But then also there's the fact that they still get pay raises, and their pay is that of like...
Yes.
Like a program engineer at IBM. Like they get fucking lots, and they get retirement. They get retirement.
They get retirement. You are set for life.
Free medical.
So retire them.
But they also get free medical out of it too. They get like top notch shit. They get more than the fucking president did.
They get to vote. They get to vote in their own raises, and talk about a bipartisan vote right there. It is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, they should all be recusing themselves.
Yes,
and so there would be no vote on it.
It should not be set by them. It should not be set by them, plain and simple.
Well, you're gonna have to change the Constitution, which is okay.
Which requires some kind of like compromising and bipartisanship, which is non-existent in this country.
Not really. You could. There's a way to get these things through each state houses, and have the state vote on it.
Well,
there would be a civil war and a half if that Constitution.
Not just over that. Well, it's called an amendment. We have lots of them.
When's the last time we successfully got one through? I mean,
that's a good thing. When was the last time?
Well, either that you have a call for a constitutional convention.
The problem is the system is completely rigged by the people running it. It's nearly fucking impossible to get any of this stuff through.
Well, that's why you want to get the states in on it.
Yeah, well...
Of course, you got some dumbass states that won't do shit.
We need term limits, and I think one of the biggest embarrassments of this country is that we had Strom Thurmond in the Senate way into, the 90s? And this was the guy that was famous for the longest running filibuster because he wanted to block the colors from getting their rights. And that was the best way to word that. Because I was using time appropriate.
They actually made a movie about that.
And it's like, wait a minute. In the 90s,
they were fucking praising for him for doing that, to make it the longest filibuster. There's a movie about that.
And it's ridiculous. When he was still in the Senate, I was like, wait a minute. We have a guy that's still in the Senate that his big claim to fame was trying to block blacks from having rights, and he's still fucking in the Senate. What the hell is wrong with that state? And that's when I realized, oh, the South is fucked up. Okay. All right. Now I know. Good to know. That's kind of when you first learn that not every place is like where you're from. Yeah.
And then you realize, wait, part of my relatives were actually in the Ku Klux Klan in Tennessee. Great.
Well, a lot of people's relatives were because I mean that's part of the history of this country is that there were a lot of. There are a lot of people that probably have some embarrassing relatives, and some of them are embarrassed by them, and some of them aren't. That's just. I'm
fully embarrassed by the majority of my relatives.
It's just that there used to be enough shame in this country that you didn't talk about those things.
Hey, but you know what the good news about Strom Thurmond?
That he's dead?
Yeah.
Thank you. That, you know what? And
makes you feel a lot better, right?
It'd be nice if, some current politicians would join him in his current plane of existence.
Right.
But you know what? Well, while we're talking about death,
the fiery breaths of hell.
I actually have a fairly serious pause for thought that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Real?
Yeah. Well, I've been going to church lately on Sundays.
Oh, good.
Because Catholic guilt got to me. And about a year ago, I decided, why don't I give it a try? And the local Catholic church had a very friendly, very welcoming pastor. I actually sat down to him to talk to him, and he basically was like, hey, you want to be a practicing Catholic again? All it takes one confession, and you're good to go. A fully blown card-carrying member and all.
What is that confession? Hey, I haven't been here a while.
Yeah, pretty much. That was yeah. And everything else that I can't think of right now since it's been so long. And he gives me absolution, all that. We're good. But the thing is,
out of there, foaming in a mouth.
Now, talking to him, I made it clear to him that I wasn't sure that I believe in one true religion, and I have strong issues with the Catholic Church. And his response to me was, "Well, I do too." Of course, this was right around the time that the latest Catholic Church scandal broke out, and he spoke out against it quite a bit, and is one of these people that's very angry about what's going on in the church. And I found that was nice. That here was this pastor that was like, hey, look it, I hate this shit too. Not those words, but his comment on that is, well, where else will you go? I mean, if this is Jesus's church, where else are you going to go? And of course, my comment is, well, what other church that follows Jesus? They're not his church too. But a priest ain't going to see it that way.
Well, he's got he believes that he's got the inside track.
Right. He buys into that the Catholic Church is carrying on the tradition of being the church that Jesus started, and all the others are lame offshoots that someone else started. You trace back other churches, they go back to a person. You go trace back the Catholic Church, they go back to the guy. Now, the other churches also go back to the guy. And I think St. Paul has a lot to do with the early Catholic Church as well. Whatever.
Go Baptist. Started by John the Baptist.
They're all fine by me.
Wait. Started by John the Baptist? He was dead by that time.
Well, he was the first Baptist. He was out there baptizing people.
Oh, but he was dead.
There you go.
You guys do realize there's a lot of fables and shit in the Bible, right?
But the floating head of John the Baptist started at the Baptist Church, right? I'm sorry, is that too soon? Was that too soon for that one? Too soon? Okay. Moving.
And you guys do realize that it was passed by word of mouth and wasn't really made into a Bible until I believe it was the 500s.
I'm one of those people that believe a lot of Old Testament
was becoming more popular.
I'm one of those people that believe that Old Testament is a lot of mythology that is not meant to be taken literal. I am not a literalist by any means, but that doesn't mean that you dismiss it all. And it just means that it's not all true.
You don't dismiss it, but you treat it more like a cultural asset to how people lived back then.
Right.
Because it was passed by word of mouth.
How are you going to apply it?
Well, let me get to how I'm applying certain things, because this is a really deep moment.
There you go.
So recently we had a change of pastors. And that's when I found out that you have two different types of pastors. And usually when someone says you have two different types of something, that's an oversimplification of something. But bear with me. So the first guy was the like, I'm here to be welcoming and try to, if people want to come back, I'll welcome them back. I mean, he was very easygoing about things. He's like, you want me to bless your marriage? That's fine. I'll come. I'm like, well, but my wife's not Catholic. I don't care what your wife is. I'll bless your marriage, no problem. Yes. So that's. I don't think every priest would be quite as willing to just bless a mixed marriage without any kind of commitment or something. Or usually you. I don't know how. Maybe, but anyways, this new pastor. He's more of the unyielding, uncompromising type that's here to tell us how it is and how it's supposed to be, and that's you all need to be doing things the right way. He probably would not have easily welcomed me back to the church if I came back when he was there. He's and he's a type. So I've been going to mass. And the first mass he says, he basically spends his homily telling us there's going to be some changes around here, and that might upset you, and that's fine, but get used to it because there's nothing you can do about it. That's one way you could welcome everyone to your new way of doing things, and now that's why I get to sleep in an extra hour on Sundays, because one of the first changes that came was the schedule, and 7 a.m. Mass has been pushed back to 8 a.m., which fine by me, because that's really the only thing I care about is what time do you need me to be there. Whatever other things you're going to do to piss off everyone else that's involved with shit, that's your thing, your problem. But I did not like his attitude, and I was like, okay, what's up with this guy? And so then I noticed that his homilies that he's giving are reminding me of all the reasons I stopped going to church and all the things I hate about religion. And I'm like, oh, God, what? Do I really want to keep coming here? Maybe I've made a mistake. Maybe this isn't for me. Because I'm not here for the people in the building. I'm here for the people above the building. So I could tolerate some things, but when every week I'm sitting there being reminded of all the reasons I don't like the church, I was at the point where I'm like, I'm going to give this a few more weeks, and then I'm probably just going to stop again. I don't.
So what was the reason why the other guy left?
Reassignments. Juggling of the people around. He went off to another parish somewhere like down the Cape May area, I think. No, not Cape May. The Cape. Massachusetts version of Cape May.
In other words, Cape Cod?
Cape Cod. That Cape. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm confused by capes. Anyways, he wears a cape. But...
So he's a superhero.
Yeah. Well, that's the vestments are like a cape.
He was smoking pot. That priest was smoking pot, man.
This priest needs to smoke pot. I might offer him some. Anyways, so yeah, I'm at the point where I'm like, maybe I just need to stop because I don't need this. This isn't. I'm not.
Well, so find another parish.
Well, here's the thing I figured out because I went to church this past Sunday, and he started preaching about why do you come to Mass? What do you get out of it? What are you here for? And that led him to talking about courage. You come here to get courage. And then he starts rambling on, and he goes back to Abraham, who had the courage, who when God asked him to sacrifice his son, was willing to do it. And do you have that courage? Do you have that courage to sacrifice your child? And my first thought was, fuck no. And my second thought was, I seem to recall reading a news story about a guy that murdered his daughter and used that defense and ended up in a mental hospital because God didn't send an angel to stop him that time. And he, to the day of when I heard about this story, still believed that he did the right thing because God told him to murder his daughter. So I'd like to hear the priest's take on that if that's what he's going to preach. But he continued on. I don't mean literally. It's like, oh, phew, thank you. Okay, you're not preaching to the congregation to go home murder your children. Got it. Okay, let's see where you're going with this. Are you willing to sacrifice your relationship with your children for God? To speak up and tell them, that's not how I raised you to be. And I've heard all the excuses. Oh, Father, but they tell me they won't let me see the grandchildren anymore if I don't stop it. Oh, Father, this, oh, Father. And I'm like, oh, my God, is this guy actually preaching for people to basically disown their children if they leave the church? To the point of keep badgering your kids even if they threaten to keep the grandchildren away from you?
Back in the day, they did that.
And I'm like, that's not cool with me. That is not cool with me at all. And I was very angry at that homily pissed me off. But you know what? It provoked some thought in me, and I thought about it, and I realized, you know what? I was actually able to use my thought on that to frame other things in my life in certain perspectives, and I got something out of it. And what that means to me is you don't have to agree with the message in order to get something out of it.
There you go. You're on the right track.
You could sit down, listen to someone preach at you something you completely disagree with, and get some thought out of it and get something out of it. And that's when I realized, you know what? I got something out of that. That was worthwhile. Yeah, I don't like the guy.
Incidentally, there is a movement called Reconciling Congregations.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like Methodists is getting into it. Some Lutherans are getting into it. I think Episcopalians, maybe some Catholics. But you have to, go to the website and see if they're talking like that. And one of the main features is that they're more accepting of gays. Right?
Right.
Because the conservatives say, we don't want any damn gays here because they're going to send us all to hell, apparently.
Right. Well,
right.
How do you, one thing is that Jesus really didn't speak much about homosexuality.
Yeah, that's true.
See, this is why I don't like organized religion.
Yeah.
Because I don't like having boundaries. I like to set my own boundaries if I don't feel comfortable with something. But
sure.
I don't like people telling me that I need to set boundaries because it's against, quote unquote, my religion or their religion. It's like, if you have a fucking problem with someone, then you deal it with yourself. Don't tell me because you want me to be in some kind of fucking group.
Right. Well, but there are advantages of being in a group. Okay. If you have issues, sometimes a good group will have resources that you can use. We're talking about family issues or other things that are, just screwing you up. But sometimes they don't work. So, you have to find a place that works for you. And if you say, well, there is nothing, then, well, that sucks.
Now, with this whole gay thing and religion, if you thought about this, the whole thing about God works in mysterious ways. Do you think that God might be looking after the entire population as a whole and maybe change a few things here and there so that we can survive? For instance, we're overpopulating the earth, something fierce right now. And we're going to run out of resources soon. But, if you make, if you make a gay population, which seems to be extremely large right now,
well,
all you're doing is just making sure that you got a little bit less people around so you can handle things more.
And that's the problem is
well, why not just bring back the plague?
I think
it's much more effective.
I think disease and famine would do a better job.
The problem is we don't genuinely know we don't genuinely know for a fact if there is a God and what God's rules or plan really are for us. Now, we have these documents that supposedly are from God, And of course they're open to interpretation, which is why we have a million fucking interpretations of the same thing, each one claiming we're right, they're wrong. And we don't have much in the way of ancient documentation supporting homosexuality. And it's like, how, if people treat these things so sacred, how do you get people to say that there was a mistake in there? That, no, you got it wrong.
It wasn't a mistake. Just the way things are. As far as natural sources go.
The problem is we don't have evidence that God is in favor of homosexuality. Now we have what passes as evidence that he's against it, but then again, that's going.
That was back in the day when there weren't that many people around.
I don't think it centers around population. I think it has been shown in literary works. In past cultures and like the ancient cultures and everything, I think it has been shown.
More people are coming out, is what it is.
Well, it doesn't matter about this time. I think it has been shown in ancient Egypt, in ancient China, in ancient India. I think it's been shown in different ancient cultures. It's just nobody really wants to depict it. I think it's been part of humanity from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
It's not. It's just a social structure that has been there. So whether people like it or not, it's going to be there. It's not something about.
Well, but it also comes down to social norms. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got a group of humans are tribal, right? They get everybody together, and you want to have a common behavior to say, you're in this tribe because you behave this way. And there's something about being gay doesn't follow that standard, which is why it's so easy to be, shall we say, pushed off.
Right? Well, yeah.
Well, so now, like these reconciling congregations are saying, wait a second, why are we doing that?
Well, yeah.
We're here to, whatever your purpose is, serve God or learn about spirituality and kind of spread the word. And how do you do that if you're pushing people away?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, like, I think what they're doing is a good idea of incorporating more people. But I honestly don't think it's a population control issue.
No, not at all.
It could be.
No, not really. I mean, after all, anybody can get a turkey baster.
Yeah, anyone can have artificial insemination.
Sure.
So it's not a population control. It's been shown throughout history that there has been homosexuality. There has been known homosexuality in Native American groups. There's been homosexuality found in Pacific Islander groups. There's been homosexuality found in all different cultures throughout history. So no.
In fact, you go to any part of this country, and you'll find gay communities, such as Houston.
So it's been shown throughout history. So no, it's not a population control.
Right.
It is just human. It's just human. It's not genetics. It's just a social culture thing.
Meanwhile, we've been having messages come in that I've totally just been ignoring, and my apologies for that. I don't think we see anything coming in the YouTube chat, but in the Gators chat, in the Twitch chat, 5-Hit Dude wanted to know Debbie who. That was Debbie and Linux.
Oh, incidentally,
we're way behind.
I'm a little curious. So you're saying you're using the Open Media Vault, right? For your NAS device.
Yes, Open Media Vault.
Is there a reason why you didn't pick free NAS?
Free NAS requires 8 gigs of RAM. The motherboard that I'm using only goes up to 4.
Okay. That's a big difference.
FreeNAS has more features, but FreeNAS is more hardware requirements. Open Media Vault, I think, was one of the developers of FreeNAS, split off, did his own thing, and
of course,
and it runs leaner. So if you got an older board that you're not going to put 8 gigs of RAM in, Open Media Vault might be for you.
Right.
Also, Open Media Vault is built off of Debian Linux, whereas FreeNAS is built off of FreeBSD or FreeBDS or
right.
Which so
I'm dyslexic, so I don't know either.
Yeah, but
hey, I got to take a break. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm sorry to be to stomp on top of the gay old time we were having here. Lulu, if you had anything more you wanted to say about that before I
no I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rant.
Hey, I talked about what thoughts were provoked by me, so it's fair game for everyone.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just.
You don't need to apologize. You did
nothing
wrong.
It's been a weird couple of days.
You're going through some shit, and I feel for you. And I just.
Yeah, I'll talk more about it after the show about what's going on. So.
Okay. Yeah, we don't. I just want to give you a hug. I'll just say
Thank
that.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I painted this past weekend because I felt like it, and I had a canvas staring at me, and so I actually made a fairly convincing painting of a crashing wave this time. Black canvas is my kind of canvas. Apparently, works good for me. I don't know. I'll have to bring it up on the. Let's see if I can get it to come up on. Of course, the Twitter app doesn't give me an easy way to look at my own tweets because why would it? I think I actually saved it to my desktop. But yeah, what you saw that Lulu and Venison? What do you all think of it?
I thought it was really cool. It looked nice. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, the painting.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, it actually looked kind of nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
So that one looked good.
Thank you. Yeah, I was quite happy with how it came out. OBS. Okay, someone's looping me back.
I don't think it's me. Is it?
No, because you're looped back too. So it's Venison using his laptop speakers and Skype's muting sucking.
Wait, was it doing that for the past hour?
No.
Yes.
Well, on and off.
Huh.
We'll get you a headset. We'll chip in and get you a headset at some point.
All right, fine. Let's take care of this right now.
Yeah, maybe you should because it's kind of annoying. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit of a bitch today, so don't mind me.
That's understandable.
Today?
I know, right?
Oh, Venison. I'm back.
Hey, welcome back. Yeah, so I was quite happy with how this painting came out. And it was the thing is, though, I have to say, is the picture looks better than the actual painting. For some reason, the picture is a little blurred, maybe, or a little smaller, and so it kind of worked. Like the white lines in the wave look good on the picture. I don't think they look as good on the painting itself. The foaminess looks more foamy on the picture than in the. But I mean, the picture does it justice. The painting itself looks okay, but to me, I just found it funny. The picture actually made it even look better. But I'm still happy with it.
No, it looks really good.
Yeah, thank you. It's too bad Bob didn't do more oceanscapes, or a lot of his seascapes had palm trees in them, or like this one, the wave is crashing up against rocks, which I did it anyways. But I'm more into. I'd rather be painting seascapes that look like the beach I go to. which is not so much rocky and just sandy and no palm trees. But I'm not good enough to paint my own thing. I don't know.
I think it looks pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I switched over to the YouTube video to take a peek at it.
Yeah.
Now, there it is.
There it is. Yes. Yes, I'm quite happy.
And then, of course, YouTube asked me if I want to do the free trial of YouTube Premium. No, I get it for free anyway. No, I don't go to that content.
No, yeah. Actually, here's the thing. I did the free trial for a period, and then I didn't want to pay for it. Well, the thing is, when you do the pay YouTube will continue to play videos after you put your phone screen to sleep. So if you want to listen to YouTube while walking with your phone in your pocket, you got to pay for that shit.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does.
But it's their service. They can do what they want with it.
And by the way, kind of explain that title. No, we will not be doing a temperature check.
That's a reference because my big topic today was the RAID array, and there's a.
Oh. Okay.
And there's a another internet radio stream that they stream on YouTube and Facebook called PTR, and they started on No Holds Barred Radio with Shaggy, Nate, and Colin, and now it's Shaggy, Nate, and Mike the Ape Man, and they were kind of the geeky show of the network, and for a while they were the server team, and They had a RAID array in their setup, and one of their shticks during the show was they would periodically do the RAID array temperature check. And
I see.
So since I'm talking about RAID arrays this show, I just want to point out there that I will not be doing the RAID array temperature check. But periodically they would check the temperature of the RAID array and announce on the stream what the current RAID array temperature check is.
Just to see that it wasn't overheating.
Right. Now the joke of it was there was another show on No Holds Barred Radio called The Annihilation Principle, hosted by Greg, who also went by the screen name Loves Eating Muff. And one of his big shticks was stealing other people's shticks. So since PTR did the RAID array temperature check, he did the vaginal temperature check and would have his girlfriend come over and there was not video on any of our shows back in these days, but he would do the vaginal temperature check live on the stream to keep us all up to date as to the temperature of Miss Muff's Muff.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Got it.
So no, we're not doing RAID array or any other kind of temperature checks on this show. Just want to make sure that we stated that up front, that just because we're talking about RAID arrays doesn't mean we're going to go all Shaggy on this box. This is clearly not a Shaggy build. I don't think Shaggy's builds of RAID arrays have a bunch of old laptop hard drives dangling with wires outside of boxes. This is purely experimental. The real drives will be coming in next week.
Cool.
Yeah. I've decided what I'm going to do.
Now, by the way, what kind of drives are you? What drives are you getting?
I'm going to go. I'm going to spend the money for drives rated for raids. And so,
isn't there a Seagate and a Western Digital that does that?
Yeah. Now, Western Digital version is the red, but I gotta tell you, I used to buy Western Digital drives because they were a little bit cheaper than Seagate, and I lost so many Western Digital drives that I switched to Seagate.
Well, you lost them because you had some.
Yeah, I've had.
Now that you have Seagates, you're giving them the opportunity to lose your data.
Well,
but the cool thing about a RAID is you won't be losing your data.
Well, right? There's no guarantee on that. There's redundancy, but. And I'm going to talk about my plan. So I have had better luck with Seagate drives than Western Digital drives. And mind you, I have been on Seagate drives for longer than I was on Western Digital drives. And the Seagate drives that are rated for RAIDs are Seagate Iron Wolf. And I was originally looking at 10 terabyte hard drives, and right now the 10 terabyte hard drives are pricing in at $280. And then all of a sudden I noticed that they dropped the price of 8 terabyte drives by $40, but they didn't drop the price of 10 terabyte drives. 8 terabyte drives are $190, which means that it costs an extra $90 to get an extra 2 terabytes of data, which is not a good deal. So I'm going to go with 8 terabytes for my build. So I'm going to start with 3 8 terabyte drives to build a 16 terabyte RAID 5. Now here's the thing though, because here's the reality of RAID 5 is that if you lose one drive, you're okay, but if you lose 2 drives, you're shit out of luck. And you say, well, what are the chances that you're going to lose 2 drives? There is a chance. Now here's the other thing. You're going on the premise that it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, which means that the plan is that someday I'm going to lose a drive and have to replace it and rebuild the RAID array, which means that your plan hinges on an eventual window of vulnerability, which is not a very solid plan. Because if something goes wrong after that drive dies, before you get a new drive in there, if something goes wrong when you put the new drive in there and it does a rebuild, and 8 terabytes, 16 terabytes is a lot of data.
It sure is.
That's a lot of opportunities for something to go wrong and an error to bring the whole thing crashing down when the rebuild fails. RAID 5 is not really a good solid solution to rely on for your data. It's a good method of redundancy, but it's not. Redundancy is not the same as a backup. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy 3 8 terabyte drives and build a RAID 5, and I'm not going to fill it up right away. I'm also going to buy an external USB 8 terabyte drive, and I'm going to take a backup to that, and that'll be my full backup, and I'll bring that with, and then I'll take some incremental backups because I have a few other external hard drives that I could do incremental to, and then I can every now and then refresh the full backup, and then as things grow, I can buy a bigger or more external drives for my backup solution. Also, if I decide that 16 terabytes is not enough, I have room to add a 4th drive, and you can add another drive and rebuild your RAID 5 to add that drive to increase it. I've actually seen where people will be like, I have a RAID 5 that's built on 1 terabyte hard drives, and I want to increase it, so I want to replace each drive one at a time, and then after I've replaced all the drives, expand it. Now that's a lot of steps and a lot of opportunities for something to go wrong, but in theory, that's a possibility. So there's some flexibility there. So I think a 3-drive RAID 5 array to start with for my first serious NAS solution is a good starting point.
A question of curiosity.
What the hell am I going to put on 16 terabytes of storage?
Yeah!
Well, right now, my entire music collection is taking up about 4 terabytes.
Damn.
Well, I rip CDs to lossless FLAC. I don't rip them to MP3. And then I have, I've downloaded a lot of music. I have a lot of high-resolution music, DVD audio, surround stuff. I've recorded in a lot of my 8-tracks and a lot of my records. That takes up a lot of space. And then on my other 4 terabyte drive, I've recorded in a lot of like VHS tapes and videos and things like that I do a little editing on. If you get into recording in video stuff and doing video editing, that takes up huge amounts of space. So yeah, I'm sitting at about 8 terabytes of data sitting in my tower. So building a 16 terabyte RAID array gives me a big heaping storage space to throw a lot of that stuff on, and have a media library sitting in a central location. And then
yeah, I was about to say.
and that'll put a lot less work, a lot less stuff to be stored. Not to mention the entire show archive is on a 1 terabyte mirrored pair.
Okay, speaking of technical things, a little technical help here. Are you getting the talk back or whatever now?
No, I'm not.
Are you getting it now?
Checkity check.
Check.
Yes, I am.
Son of a bitch.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still getting it.
Donkey penis.
All right.
Fuck.
I think I'm not getting it now.
Yes, I plugged it back in.
The headset?
Yeah.
Yeah, headset's the way to go when you're streaming.
Well, not when I'm broadcasting is fine.
Well, you're not broadcasting, are you?
You're doing a one-man, one-mic show in your broadcast. You could
That's true.
You could do that to a cassette recorder, and no one will hear you. But yeah, headset's the way to go. Oh, so you already have one, so we don't have to buy you one. Okay, that's good.
Nope.
Good to know. You just like being free of wires.
Yeah, pretty much. Because the headset's on, I can't hear things that's going around in the apartment.
Okay, well, here's what you do. 1 cup on, 1 cup off. I do that a lot whenever I need to hear what's going on around me.
Well, sort of.
You could do that. Or you could do both cups half on, and that's like, feeding the audio right into your brain. Yeah. Actually, that's not working so well. Okay.
No.
Does anyone have any other topics they wanted to bring to the show this week?
No.
So actually, let's clarify a little bit. Which drive were you getting? The Seagate?
I am getting Seagate Iron Wolf 8 terabyte NAS internal hard drives. I'm going to buy 3 of them at $190 each.
Seagate 8 terabyte?
Yes.
I'm looking on Amazon and I go,
$189.99 each. And that's they just recently dropped it $40 because it the 10 terabytes are like $280.
Oh, there it is. 189.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 10 are $279. So $189 for 8 terabyte is a much better deal than $279 for 10 terabyte.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, cool. So any other topics, Lulu, Brian, Venison?
No.
Not that I can think of, at least not for this show anyway.
All right. Brian?
I did have one thing.
I can't think of anything.
All right. Well, I am so glad you all said no.
Holy crap, you can get a 16 terabyte on Iron Wolf. Why didn't that come up before? I said, hey, anything better than 4 terabytes, and the biggest I was seeing is 4.
Yeah, 16 terabyte for $570. Which
and of course you got to get 4 of them.
Which, well, you could just get 2 and make a mirrored pair out of those. I don't think you need
right.
4 of them. Wait a minute. So you're telling me you need to build a 48 terabyte RAID array? Is that what you're telling me?
What the hell? No, I don't need that much. I was just looking at the price.
I want that much.
Once upon a time, I once uttered the phrase, wow, 1.2 gigabytes. I'll never fill that up. I'm going to state right here, right now, I think I could safely say never in my lifetime will I be able to fill up 48 terabytes and be like, oh my God, I need more space. I don't think I'm going to reach that point. Maybe 20. Maybe 20.
Hey, Venison, do you remember when you got that first, 10 megabyte hard drive and you go, wow?
Yeah, but I also remember, when I first got a computer, I was actually told, oh, you'll never use more than 16K of RAM.
That's right.
Yeah.
In fact, IBM's original, the maximum you could put in was 64K, and they thought everybody would love it. Well, they did until they started using applications that could use more. So, hey, the outfit I worked decided, hey, we could build a memory card to help people out, and that's what we did.
Oh no, but it's not only that. But for first chance I got in programming in BASIC, TI BASIC, but sucked. Right. I ran that 16K rather quickly.
Right.
Anyways,
it was a great program too. My first AI.
All right.
Wonderful.
It mimicked brain responses.
Starbursts, yay. What are you looking at?
Anyways, since we've run out of topics, I think we've reached that time where it's time to break out the dollar bin specials.
Well, sort of. Venison, what the hell do you have on your mind?
Well, I got one thing that's actually confusing me. Because, this was a sort of news article. Kind of, but not really.
Well, yeah, but you said you had nothing. So we are moving right along to the what can a dollar buy you?
No, fine. If you don't want to know how you're going to die, that's okay.
No, I don't. You do?
I'd rather not, but this was scary.
I know how I'm going to die. I know exactly how I'm going to die, and that's going to be Trump's going to say something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, I bet you won't nuke us," and that's how I'm going to die. So,
that too.
So that's what you have to look forward to.
So do you have a little place up in Maine that you can run off to when you hear those words?
Well,
just hop in the car and head up to Maine.
Well,
maybe not Maine.
We all know how it works out. How it works out is a lot of death, and then a lot of the living envying the dead. So, do you want to drive away from the blast or towards the blast? I think that's really the debate.
Go. Right.
That's really the debate. I think I want to be out there at ground zero, ready to catch the motherfucker. Come on, right. Come here, quick and painless, baby.
Do the Slim Pickens route, right?
With a baseball bat. Stay out there with a baseball bat and just bat it away.
I'm gonna, watch the trail. See, hey, can I get it to hit me square in the head? Just knock me out before it blows. Yes.
Well, of course, when they, shall we say, let go nuclear weapons, it's at altitude. So you're actually not going to be hit by it. You're just going to be hit by the wave.
Well, maybe they'll get the time. We're talking about North Korea. Their timing is going to be off a bit. It's going to kunk me on the head before it blows.
Yeah, but they're not going to hit the East Coast first. They can't reach that.
They'll hit me first. Oh. It's probably going to slide by my camper, and I'll be like, "You motherfuckers."
But what is the Earth shifts axis?
Oh no! Are you gonna make me break out the nutty squirrels?
Yes, he is.
You really gonna make me break out the nutty squirrels now? Is that what it's come down to?
Well, that's for conspiracy theories. This one seems to be actually true because they measured it.
That's what you say about every conspiracy theory.
They actually have. There's proof in the Atlantic ridge. There's been polarized shifts.
Polarized shift of what?
Where the North Pole and the South Pole switch.
Okay, so?
Oh yeah, that's a pole reversal. But we're talking about the actual North and South poles moving. Before it was moving to the north. Now it's moving to the south.
Now, are we talking about magnetic poles or rotational poles?
Magnetic poles.
Well, that's just what compasses use. We just recalibrate and readjust, and we're good.
Yeah, but that's what's moving. That's what he's talking about.
Well, that's not a big deal.
This one is because it's quite possible. Say the worst case scenario, it could go down as far south as the North Pole would be in Europe, and the South Pole would be somewhere around the Pacific.
But that's magnetic north. That's not polar north.
Well, at this point, it's going to follow the shift of the Earth.
No, the Earth's not shifting. A magnetic source that we use as a reference point is shifting, and we just recalibrate our... They're already measuring it, which means they're already recalibrating whatever they need to accommodate the shift.
It's a magnetic shift. That's all it is.
It just means a reference point is changing, and we need to keep track of that. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that we're going to send the Earth hurling into the sun because
No, it won't do that. But it'll shift its axis, and lead a little bit more down south. They mentioned this on the little program on the Science Channel. NASA's Unexplained Files, which turned out to be a pretty interesting program.
Okay.
And they mentioned that because because of us, we made the Northern Hemisphere top heavy because of all the construction, concrete, and various other weighty things, in various centers in the Northern Hemisphere. Middle East is doing all kinds.
Oh, but you know what's going to offset that?
What?
Venison? As the ice on Greenland melts, then it'll turn into water and even out over the planet.
Because it'll run down to the bottom.
Would be offset.
Because liquid runs down, right? And it'll all go pool in Antarctica.
Right, it just even out. Of course, then you've got the other problem where you've got water from Antarctica adding to the ocean, again, even things out.
Flooding is what we got to worry more about than magnetic shifts.
Venison, just become Noah and build an ark, okay?
This isn't just a magnetic shift.
There you go.
Like I said, we made the planet top heavy. And now
we fucking didn't, you goddamn alien.
We've made the planet top heavy.
You scientists.
Tell you what.
It's a magnetic shift, you fucking moron.
We all need to clean out our closets and move the clutter onto a cruise liner and ship it down to Antarctica. That'll balance this all out. Next problem.
A magnetic shift.
It's a fucking magnetic shift. You can see it in the goddamn compasses.
That's all it is.
Well, we've seen that. We know about the magnetic shift, but where there's a physical shift that's happening too.
A physical shift relative to what?
You mean relative to what?
What is physically shifting?
How can you tell that?
Well, for one thing, you can look around, look up the sky for one. I've even noticed that for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's me, maybe the location, I don't know. Like I said, that's why I'm confused about this. Was that bit with the, the Big Dipper. Okay? As a kid, I seen it in one part of the sky. Now it's shifted a little more east and south.
It's always shifting over the course of rotations. It's never in the same place, but they always can tell you where it's going to appear.
Yeah, but see it year after year.
We're not
in the same spot.
We're not stationary in this universe.
I know that.
Venison, you do realize the Milky Way does change over billions of years. Even in your measly 50 years of living, it will change.
So
constellations are not the same.
Well, what about if you get a ship?
Okay.
If you get a change over.
Oh my God!
All right. Let's hear Venison out. Now, Venison, you preface this with, "This is what's going to kill us," and
Maybe
your thing that may kill us will be that our location is shifting. And when I said relative to what, you brought up the Big Dipper. So the Earth shifting relative to the Big Dipper is going to kill us. How?
no.
How is the Earth shifting relative to the Big Dipper?
What would cause the Big Dipper to change the location from where it was in the north to slightly more southeast? What would cause that? The only thing that really could cause that would be the tilt of the Earth is more than what it was.
Okay, so the Earth is tilting more relative to what, and how is that going to kill us?
Relative to what it was.
So we're tilting differently relative to the Big Dipper.
It's tilted by what, 23 degrees or something at maximum tilt. At this point, I think they were saying that it might have actually shifted by as much as 25 degrees, and it could get worse.
And
that could kill us.
and that is going to kill us how?
Well, you get that much of a shift change. You got the sun, of course.
Our tilt is changing, but our distance from the sun is staying the same.
Yeah, what happens in winter and summer?
They're going to shift a little bit, but they're not going to.
Fine.
Yes, they shift. To winter. Our winter. Our axis is shifted.
You're welcome. It's one of Thank you.
Away from the sun, but we're actually closer to the sun. And in our winter, the pole is shifted down so that summer. Summer.
There are some parts of the world that have different climates due to where the rotation is, putting them in different positions, and that they have hotter summers and milder winters, and so the change in an axis could make a shift in those regions, and some regions will have more extreme weather than others have. But that doesn't mean it's going to kill us. It just means it's going to change climate in different areas.
If the shift is big enough.
Which I've yet to see you show any evidence of a serious shift that's going to have major consequence.
Wow.
You saw it on TV.
Like I said, it was a science channel. It was from NASA. So who do you believe?
Well,
what do you think about it?
But was this NASA presenting it, or was this someone taking research that NASA did and putting their interpretation on what it might mean? Because there's so many times that
I think
people
it's called their spin.
There's so many times where people take a study and they find a way to turn it into a sensational headline, which is like totally not what the study was really trying to say. That's
where the confusion comes in.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, it's spin. It's thank you, Brian. I just caught that.
Yeah, but them talking about it, period, is enough to cause some kind of concern.
Well,
right, just how they talk about Yellowstone being a big ass fucking mega volcano, and everyone and their mother starts being hysterical about it. Yeah, that's totally fine.
You know what?
Oh yeah, it's 600,000 years too late. For the eruption.
I'm more concerned about two things, and these two things are enough to keep you up at night. One, more than enough nuclear weapons exist on this planet to completely destroy it multiple times, and we don't completely know who's controlling all of them. Two, every now and then, some big-ass asteroid comes out of space and NASA goes, oh, holy shit, where did that come from? And it crashes into the Earth. And really, really, really big things could show up someday and catch us by surprise and completely wipe us all out. I think those two things are enough. I don't need more.
Well, the other thing to worry about is that solar flare that would cause a big, what they call a CME, that would wipe us, would instantly send us to, the days of the caveman. At least those that survive.
You know.
Oh, there's also on the East Coast the idea of part of the coast breaking off because it's one big ledge, and then on the Pacific coast there's the San Andreas Fault and the Juan de Fuca plate.
And Hawaii.
Well, someone.
Well, that's Hawaii.
Someone did try to warn us about the solar flares.
The solar flares destroyed all life on Earth.
Ah, solar flares, I see.
Our scientists calculated it would be 5,000 years before the biosphere became viable again.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
Those who survive would be living underground.
We'll become mole men.
Yes.
Would you like a jelly baby? Would you like a jelly baby? Would you like a jelly baby?
Yes.
Be careful of jelly baby.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can kill us all. And we wouldn't know it until the last second.
And including the deadly jelly babies.
Now drop your weapons, or I'll kill him with this deadly jelly baby.
Oh, don't forget the Gamma Reapers.
Of course, California is not slipping off into the ocean.
No.
If you look at the San Andreas Fault, it's just that LA is getting closer to San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just shifting upwards.
Right.
But no, the whole east coast of the United States is sitting on a shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
that one I
telling
haven't heard yet.
I got two things that are pretty damn serious that could just wipe us all out at a moment's notice, and that's all I need. The rest is just gravy.
Okay.
That's you got your disaster to worry about. I got mine. I'm thinking asteroid out of nowhere wipes out all life as we know it. That's totally going to happen. That's my prediction. Yours is the shelf, the ledge, and Venison is the shifting of the Earth's axis.
And
should we put side bets on this? All right, so let's make a little bet. What's going to destroy us? This is more of a friendly bet. No real money on this. So I'm going to go with asteroid. Venison, you're going with the whole axis shift. Neo, you're going with eastern ledge. Brian, what disaster are you putting your money on?
Oh, the big earthquake.
The big earthquake. Okay, there we go. We got it.
Well, I'm not sure that the axis shift is going to be the one. But there's still there's still that gamma ray burst, that supernova. That's about 800 light years
Just
away.
fucking pick one, you goddamn asshole.
Okay, do you want the supernova or do you want the Earth's axis?
I want the supernova.
Yeah, it might go supernova because we don't know when that thing's going to blow, and it's primed to blow. Unfortunately, the pole, the poles on that star are pointed right at us.
Hey,
so if that thing does go supernova, and you get a gamma ray burst out of it, boom! We're fucked.
We should get some pretty good northern lights out of it, though, right?
Yeah, for about yeah.
We just be nooped.
All right, there we go. So stay tuned and keep an eye on that little bet, and maybe we'll have 10 seconds to collect before we
hide
kiss
under a desk and kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah,
when you see it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, if you see it, you're gone.
And on that note, what can $1 buy you? Now, a few weeks ago, I bought a record called the Baroque Beatles book for $1, brought it home, put it on the turntable, and it was warped beyond playing. which is the downside to buying records from a dimly lit flea market. So I went back to the same stand, flipped through records, and I found a more pristine copy of the Baroque Beatles book. And the best part is this one was an original pressing on the original Elektra label, with the guy with the guitar on the label. So that is really cool. And so now we can actually find out just what happens when the Beatles go Baroque, because we could it could be pretty good. I'm not sure which Beatles song is this. I'm not catching it right away. Huh. Let me move the needle a little bit. I'm not quite catching this one. I think they embellish these songs a lot. All right, I'm going to you know what? There's two sides to this record. Let's see if side 2 gets any better, because that was kind of boring.
Confusing.
I don't know.
Delicious.
Delicious. What do you think of that so far, Venison?
Confusing.
Delicious.
Confusing and delicious.
Is that Brandenburg?
Well, I mean, Brandenburg is Baroque, and this is basically supposed to be the Beatles played in a Baroque style. And luckily, the record.
Oh.
Okay, let's. Oh, this is 8 days a week. Eight days a week. There, finally we got something we recognized. Okay, so was this worth $1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then again, Lulu thought that the bagpipe record was worth $1, yet she still refuses to take it from Mars.
That's his birthday gift.
All right, yeah, I think that was worth $1. I'm now gonna go file that away and never listen to it again. And then I found another dollar special. This one, once again, the literal only cost $1. And sometimes it's fun to have easy listening instrumental stuff to throw on in the background when you just feel like having a little bit of a little background stuff to listen to. And so that's why I picked up Mr. Acker Bilk. Do you remember Mr. Acker Bilk there, Brian?
No.
No, you don't. You don't remember Acker Bilk? No, he.
I don't think anybody does. Oh boy.
Okay, a little too white for venison, I'm thinking.
This will put me to sleep.
Wait. I got a solution for that. If the music is putting you to sleep, increase the speed of the turntable. Is that fast enough yet, or do we need to bring it up tempo a little more?
Bring it up tempo, a little more. That's better.
There we go. Is that fast enough for you, Venison?
Okay, it sounds like birdies. Sounds like
I think the dogs will be howling pretty soon.
It was Disney.
Yeah. When you make the record spin that fast, it's over quicker. I think that's what you were going for there. Let's see.
By the way, are you on Twitch?
Yes, I should be.
What name?
Jay Gators.
Your mom.
People are writing in the chat room, and let's see. Sarcastic Wolf wrote in, New York crack is $1 good enough? I don't know. I wouldn't trust the crack that only costs $1.
Yeah, really.
And yeah, I don't know. Someone was talking about thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. I'm not sure what we were talking about. That was
Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
I don't know what part of the conversation. I wasn't paying attention to the chat well enough. But Cabover Pete writes in, "What's good?" and Lou Dog writes in, "Want to play some video games?" Well, I don't do video games on this show. I was doing weekly Saturday night streams with my wife called Marriage Consoling, where we play some console games, and we're probably going to resume that, but we've taken a little break for the summer because we do a lot of traveling and beach stuff during the summer. But Marriage Consoling will be returning probably in September. We do have a lot of fun with it. We go vintage, old school. We don't do emulators. Well, sometimes we do emulators, but we mostly do real consoles being captured with a video capturing while drinking and just having a good old time. I recently picked up a few 2600 carts, so we might break out the 2600 when we come back and see how much we need to drink to make that fun. And the best part is we do not put stuff like this in the background while playing video games, because this would just put everyone to sleep. So, yeah.
I'm more into Privateer.
Are you referring to video games or music? Privateer. I'm not.
Video games.
Okay. All right. I did find one absolutely classic album that I own multiple CD copies of, but never actually picked up a vinyl copy of until now. In the dollar bin. And I couldn't.
Venison, don't scare them away. We need viewers.
And I couldn't believe I found. This for only $1. And we'll see if Venison and Brian remember this one. I mean, this was classic. This was huge. This was good stuff. And I always loved the opening to this album because it just opens up with this fade in. I mean, talk about classic album opening right there.
Lou Dog wants to know if you got Discord.
I've heard of Discord. I need to spend some time looking into how to set that up. I don't have a Discord at this time. I'm old school internet radio streamer, and I'm breaking out into more newer things. I've been doing YouTube for a long time. And I've done some Twitch video game streaming with my wife on the weekends, but I'm just starting to get more serious about the Twitch stuff. So we do have Skype up, though, and you can Skype in NHB Live if you'd like to jump in and join the Skype call. And Brian, you remember this album? You own a copy of this one?
Oh, this.
I take it Venison didn't.
I swear I never heard the beginning.
He goes, "Oh man, you on Skype or something?"
Yeah, NHB Live on Skype.
What is this?
You don't remember this?
ELO?
Yes.
Which is amazing that I picked that up because it was really kind of breaking in and breaking out.
Oh, that's the joys of Skype. Skype actually tries to filter music out for some reason. So but Venison got it.
Yeah, I could tell he got it sooner than I did, yeah.
Venison, you didn't care for it, though.
Well, it wasn't one of my favorites, no, but I recognize it. Just not the album beginning.
Oh, this is a classic. Brian, you own some ELO in your collection?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's too bad. But yeah, for $1, I couldn't pass that up. But I think we got a Skype call coming in, and I've hit the button. So hopefully it's joining it to the call. Hello, caller, are you there? Oh.
Hello?
No, hello?
Go, buddy.
Caller? No?
Well, you know what? It now tells me that someone named Andy is not on the call. So I'm guessing that I clicked the button and either it dropped or disconnected. So try to call back if that didn't work out. We'll try to get you in. Skype is a little, it's a Microsoft product. What can I say? And Lou Dog writes in, did it work? I'm trying to use my Outlook. I didn't know Outlook could do Skype. Although I guess you get the Skype for Business with Office, but I don't know if that can call normal Skype accounts because they're like two different things with the same name. Because that's not confusing. No, Lou Dog's so here, wait, I'm getting Skype. Cool. Yeah, so those are my dollar fines this past weekend to kill time. We have 2 minutes left of the broadcast, so you better get that Skype going quick, and you get to say goodnight to us. But that's okay because we will be back next week. I'll be here next week, and Venison, I'm sure you'll be here next week. Lulu, Brian, what are your schedules?
Yeah, I got nothing else to do.
Dude, I'm playing it by ear with everything that's going on.
Understandable. Brian.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not sure yet.
Brian and Lulu we lucked out that they are both available in here this week, and that is good news. So
Lou Dog is downloading it.
We are literally getting the closing tube now. So you can Skype in next week though. But we are going to break out the closing theme tune. So let me because we're at the top of the hour after 2 hours of a show, and it's
you look like a fucking fool grinning like that. Yeah.
But you get that downloaded, you get that installed, you'll be good to go. And hey, you know what? If you check out nhbradio.com, which will redirect you to the Facebook page, and if you scroll down, there's a listen link somewhere on there because we're professional like that. But tomorrow night, 6 to 8, Video Vamp will be doing ADHD Radio, and Friday night was it Reckless? No, not Reckless Radio. Outlaw Radio does their thing. Saturday night, the 5-Hit with Dune on the 5-Hit Dune Twitch channel. He goes on, 10, 11 p.m. Eastern? Something like that. Subscribe to 5-Hit Dune if you haven't already, because he's cool. And then Sunday, Dune and I over on the 5-Hit Dune, which my channel also hosts 5-Hit Dune, so you can get it that way too. But Sundays, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, Dune and I, we host the Dune and Bob show. And that is a 2-hour show. Hour 1, we just kind of shoot the shit. Hour 2, we do Twitch reviews. Dune does a lot of exploring around, scrolling down through the different Twitch channels on the music and just chatting to find out who has started with the low listener counts that are up and coming, and kind of let you know about all these great things. 'Cause there's a lot of great talent out there that are down.
Yes, there is.
You scroll down to the low viewer counts, and there's gold down there to be found, and they are up and coming. I mean, we found Megan Lenius when she was on her way up. We found lots of great stuff. Although I think Megan was already doing all right when we found her. Not
Ed
to say.
plays jazz.
And what?
Ed plays jazz.
Oh, yes.
Outrageous saxophone player. Oh my God.
So we do have all that and more available on the internet.
I've got Team Yellow album. What the hell?
I'm sorry, what?
I got 14 ELO albums. I didn't know I had these.
I break out ELO and you're like, oh, that. I only own 14 of their albums. Is that all?
I don't know.
Because they're good. That's why you own 14 of their albums. I mean, Mr. Blue Sky is one of those songs that you can't help but smile every time it comes on. That's why so many movies have used it in their commercial. The movie might suck, but the commercial made you smile. That's why you need to come see our movie. But anyways, remember that. You want a successful commercial? Just put ELO's Mr. Blue Sky in it. Everyone will buy your product. You heard it here first. Actually, I think I stole that from a Cracked article. My apologies to whoever I ripped that off from. Anyways, yeah. So we're going to get rolling here. We're going to get running here. But we'll be back next week, next Monday, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern, Mondays, here on youtube.com/JohnnyGators, twitch.tv/JGators, and nhbradio.com. Thank you very much for listening. And we need to talk about what we learned. I almost forgot.
Oh, cool. Make Me Write a Song just got on.
Yo.
Yay.
Yo, what's up?
I made Skype work. Can you hear me?
Yes,
He
we hear
made
you.
it.
He made Skype work. So,
Just in time.
so what's going on? What do you want to call in and say?
I don't know. I was here to say goodbye, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, that's cool. Well, you know what we do at the end of our shows here is we like to pretend that we're educational and that this wasn't a complete waste of time. And so we always go around and say what we learned today. And it doesn't have to be serious. And sometimes we just make shit up. So we'll start with Brian. Brian, what did you learn this week?
Well, I might be obsessed. I'm trying to get that one last Beatles albums. I just might need help.
You get one last what? A Beatles album?
Yeah.
Which one do you need?
I just might need help.
Oh, that was a joke. I get it. That was
That's my joke of the week.
Okay, so Brian needs help. Lulu, what have you learned this week?
I learned that Venison is a jackass again.
We all do that. You didn't learn that.
But great!
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Cold.
Venison, what have you learned this week?
What have I learned? Well, to be more, nice, and say 16 terabytes of data, and I thought I was a data hog. You were just plain ridiculous.
There's a lot of history to preserve. And Andy, what have you learned? Caller? Andy, still there? Or did you drop off?
No, he's
it's muted.
Okay. Well.
Oh, what?
What have you learned this week?
Oh, I don't know.
You know
Nothing
what?
really.
Well, you did learn how to install Skype.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go. And
all right.
Yeah,
and it's successful.
Yeah.
And this week, what have I learned? I was thinking of something and then I got distracted. No, I learned that Brian seriously needs help. But
yes,
that's okay, because help is on the way. Maybe it's not help you need. Maybe you need the Ultra Deluxe Abbey Road box set that's coming out next month. I think that's what you really need.
Damn.
It comes with a new Dolby Atmos surround remix, which means now which means now I have to buy more speakers and mount them on my ceiling. Thanks, Beatles. Once again, come back. We'll be here again next week, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for calling in, Andy. And good night.
I got you. See ya.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Bye.
And fuck you, we're all going to die soon.
That's what I was going to say I learned.
Too late.